The most powerful speech you'll hear this year, Napoleon Hill inspired. Part 1. Your mind is a battlefield. There are people who fall apart at the slightest storm, and then there are those who rise when everything around them crumbles. So what makes the difference? It's not luck. It's not education. It's not talent. The real difference lies in your mental attitude. Not the fake kind that smiles on Instagram while breaking down inside, but the kind that can't be broken, not even by hell itself. This isn't about blind optimism. This is a mindset deeply rooted, relentlessly trained, so much so that even pain can't shake it. It's the power that keeps your head held high when the world is falling apart. It's the grit that gets you back up when failure knocks you down. It's the quiet fire burning in your chest when the whole world screams at you to give up and you say, "Not today." See, without a strong mental attitude, you drift, like a leaf in the wind, pushed around by fear, doubt, and distraction. But when your mindset is forged like steel, you don't drift. You aim, you lock on, you strike. And here's the truth most people never hear. This mindset, it's not reserved for the elite. You don't have to be born with it. You don't need anyone's permission. You just need to decide. I will not let the world shape how I think. I will lead my own mind. Because your mind is a battlefield, and every day you're either winning or losing. The weapon? Not motivation, not inspiration. It's a positive mental attitude, unbreakable, unshakable, unstoppable. But let's be clear, you don't build that kind of power by just thinking happy thoughts. You can't manifest strength with fake smiles and wishful thinking. You build it through clarity, repetition, discipline, and brutal honesty. So let's start with that honesty. Let's destroy the biggest myth first, that a positive mindset means pretending everything's fine, because that lie is keeping you weak. And it ends now. Part 2. The lie of fake positivity. Let's get this straight. Positive thinking is not pretending. It's not forcing a smile when your world is crumbling. It's not reciting empty affirmations hoping your pain will magically disappear. Fake positivity is a mask. And masks don't save you when life punches you in the mouth. Real mental strength, the kind that can't be broken, doesn't come from denial. It comes from confrontation. From the willingness to face what hurts and say, "I will rise anyway." You've been told to stay positive, but what they really mean is stay quiet. Smile through it. Don't make waves. Act like it's all good. It's not, and you know it. But here's the shift. True positive mental attitude isn't the absence of pain. It's the presence of power, in spite of it. It's the refusal to let circumstances own your mind. It's the internal declaration, "This situation is hard, but I am harder." Let me ask you, have you ever tried to think positive while your mind was under attack? While fear was screaming in your ears? While doubt was choking your belief? It doesn't work when it's surface level. Because surface level doesn't stand a chance against soul level struggle. That's why most people give up on positivity. They try it once or twice. It doesn't fix everything, so they label it fake and go back to surviving. But here's the truth no one told them. Positivity doesn't fix things. It fortifies you. It's not supposed to make the storm go away. It's supposed to make you unshakable while you walk through it. True power isn't pretending the fire doesn't exist. It's learning to walk through flames without losing your soul. So no more pretending. No more good vibes only while your dreams rot in the basement of your potential. No more grinning through pain while your spirit bleeds in silence. Instead, let's go deeper. Let's talk about building real resilience. Let's talk about rewiring your thoughts at the source. Because your attitude isn't just how you feel. It's how you fight. And to fight, you need more than empty optimism. You need purpose. You need conviction. You need the kind of belief that can't be shaken by bad news, fake friends, or your own mistakes. That kind of belief doesn't show up overnight. It's built through what I call mental conditioning. Just like your body needs reps to grow, your mind needs reps to harden. That's why positivity isn't something you try. It's something you train. Repetition, clarity, focus, fire. Daily, not when you feel like it, not when life is easy, especially when it's not. The real ones know this. You don't wait until the storm passes to build shelter. You build it while it's raining. This is where we destroy another lie, that you have to feel positive before you act powerfully. No, you act first. You speak power first. You move forward first, and the feeling, it catches up. Because here's the secret. Your subconscious doesn't respond to truth. It responds to repetition. Say something long enough, your mind believes it. And what your mind believes, your life reflects. That's why it's not about faking it, it's about training it. So stop asking, but what if I don't believe it yet? Say it anyway. I will not break. I am not a victim. I command my mind, my time, and my energy. I was built to rise, not to retreat. Say it like your life depends on it, because it does. The difference between survivors and dominators: survivors wait for the feeling. Dominators create it. They choose language that lifts. They choose rituals that build. They choose inputs that fuel, not drain. They understand that positivity isn't a trend. It's a tool. It's armor. It's a weapon for spiritual warfare in a world designed to break weak minds. But let me be clear, none of this matters if you're still clinging to comfort, because positivity and comfort don't live in the same house. One builds strength, the other softens it. You don't build an unbreakable attitude in safe spaces. You build it in fire. Positivity without purpose is decoration. Positivity with purpose is dynamite. You want to feel strong? Start by confronting your own mental habits. What are you feeding your mind daily? Who are you listening to? What thoughts are playing on loop? What beliefs are hiding in the background, sabotaging your actions? Until you do this inner audit, you're just decorating the prison of your old self. You want to break out? Here's where we start. Cut the noise. Remove the lies. Replace doubt with direction. Replace comfort with commitment. Replace wishful thinking with inner work. And when it gets hard, and it will, when the voice of fear comes back, because it always does, you remember this. You are not here to feel good. You are here to become powerful. You're here to build a mindset that bends reality, not one that bends to it. This is how real mental strength is born, not through pretty quotes, but through ruthless clarity, daily repetition, and a relentless refusal to surrender your mind to the enemy called circumstance. Now that we've torn down the myth of fake positivity, now that you understand real mental toughness is trained, not faked, it's time to go deeper. Because mindset alone isn't enough. You need structure, you need foundation, you need a target so sharp it burns through distraction. And that brings us to the next non-negotiable, clarity of purpose. Because no one builds an unbreakable mindset by drifting. They build it by anchoring their soul to something they would die for. Part 3, the fire of purpose, your unbreakable North Star. Let's pause and remember where we've come from. You've already faced the first battle. You know fake positivity won't save you. You know surface-level optimism collapses under real pressure. You've started rewiring your mind through repetition, inner language, and conscious input. You've begun to command your mental environment. But now comes the next layer, direction. Because all that fire you've started building inside, it needs to be aimed. It needs a target. Otherwise, it burns in circles and leaves you exhausted, not elevated. A powerful mindset without a clear purpose is like a loaded weapon with no target. You can repeat affirmations all day long. You can speak power into your spirit every morning. But if you don't know where you're going, you're just speeding up your journey to nowhere. That's why the most unstoppable people on earth aren't just positive. They're clear. They don't wake up and hope for progress. They wake up knowing exactly what they're building and why it matters. So I have to ask you a question, and I want you to answer it with ruthless honesty. What are you living for? Not what sounds good, not what makes people clap. What are you really here to build, create, become? Because without that anchor, you drift. And when you drift, you become vulnerable. Vulnerable to distraction, vulnerable to laziness, vulnerable to failure disguised as comfort. Remember what we said earlier, you cannot build an unbreakable attitude in safe spaces. You build it in fire, but that fire must have direction. Otherwise, it consumes you instead of constructing you. This is what I call the North Star principle. You need a goal so vivid, so personal, so non-negotiable that it burns brighter than your excuses. A goal that pulls you out of bed when comfort whispers sleep in. A goal that makes failure look small. A goal that silences doubt with sheer volume. Without it, you will always go back to who you were. But with it, you become the person your old self would be afraid of. Now let's get practical. How do you find and lock into that kind of clarity? It starts with this. Stop lying to yourself. Stop saying you want to be successful. That word means nothing until it's defined. You don't want to be happy. You want something specific. Call it by name. What do you want to build? Who do you want to become? What legacy are you carving even when no one's watching? Vague goals create vague effort. Vague effort creates vague lives, and vague lives leave this world forgotten. So grab the pen, draw the line, declare the vision, say it out loud. Write it every morning. Burn it into your subconscious until every decision you make filters through it. Because when you know your direction, you no longer need to negotiate with weakness. You'll say, does this thought move me closer to my vision or pull me away? Does this habit elevate me or dilute me? Is this comfort robbing my destiny? Clarity does more than give you direction, it gives you discipline. And that's what makes a strong mind unshakable. When every action is aligned with purpose, distractions lose their power. Remember, discipline is not about control, it's about alignment. When your actions, thoughts, and beliefs are all pointed in the same direction, you don't need motivation. You move automatically because you're built to move towards something greater. Let's be real. Without clarity, positivity turns into performance. You end up smiling while stuck, working hard but going in circles, busy but not productive. But when purpose steps in, suddenly every ounce of effort means something. The pain becomes meaningful. The sacrifices become sacred. The struggle becomes necessary. That's what purpose does. It transforms suffering into fuel. It turns delay into preparation. It makes you dangerous to defeat. Let's make it personal. What would you suffer for? What would you bleed for? What goal would make you say, mock me, misunderstand me, doubt me, I'm doing it anyway? Find that, and your mental attitude will no longer be a concept. It will be a weapon. But here's your warning. Clarity will cost you. When you finally know what you want, you'll have to give up what you don't. You'll have to say no to 100 good things so you can say hell yes to the one thing that matters most. You'll have to kill off distractions. You'll have to silence voices that make you small. You'll have to walk alone sometimes. But that's the price of power. And those who pay it, they become leaders. Not just of teams, companies, or movements. They lead their own minds. So let's bring it all together. You've rejected fake positivity. You've started training your mind. You've learned the truth about repetition, discipline, and self-talk. And now you've anchored it all to a burning purpose, your North Star. But there's still one more layer to this. Because even the clearest purpose and the strongest mindset will collapse if you tolerate weak environments. That's right, your energy, your momentum, your focus. They're all being shaped by who and what you surround yourself with. And that's where we go next. In Part 4, we'll expose the hidden enemies of your mindset, the people, the voices, the environments that quietly sabotage your mental attitude. Because you can't build an unbreakable mind if you're living in a space that constantly breaks it down. And more importantly, you'll learn how to build a support system that elevates you daily. Let's go. Part 4. Guard your environment, the silent killer of mental strength. You've already done the hard work. You've stopped lying to yourself. You've declared your purpose. You've started showing up for your vision, on the days you feel it, and more importantly, on the days you don't. But there's something else you need to hear. Your mindset is only as strong as the environment that surrounds it. Let me say it louder, because most people ignore this until it's too late. You cannot build a powerful inner world while living in a toxic outer one. Your focus? It's fragile. Your discipline? It's under constant attack. Your energy? It's contagious, but also vulnerable to infection. And while you're doing the work internally, there are voices externally trying to reverse it all. Let's break it down. You can wake up early, you can speak affirmations, you can write your goals and move with fire, but if you're constantly surrounded by people who speak small, think small, live small, eventually that energy will corrode your fire. Not instantly, not dramatically, but slowly, silently. Doubt doesn't always scream. Sometimes it whispers, and it whispers through your environment. That friend who jokes about your ambition, that co-worker who always complains, that content you binge that numbs instead of sharpens, that harmless conversation that keeps pulling you back to old habits. Let me be blunt. You are under the influence. Every second, every scroll, every voice you entertain. And the question is, under the influence of what? You cannot protect your mindset while bathing in mental poison. You cannot hold a positive attitude while entertaining negative frequency. You cannot live at a high level while letting low-energy people rent space in your head. This isn't about arrogance. This is about alignment. You don't have to hate the people holding you back. You just have to stop giving them access to your destiny. Think about this. Even a candle can burn inside a wind tunnel, but only for so long. Eventually it flickers, then fades, then disappears. Your fire is sacred. Protect it like it matters, because it does. So let me ask you, who in your life sharpens your edge? Who challenges you to level up? Who calls out your excuses instead of co-signing them? Who makes you feel more capable after talking to them? Now reverse it. Who drains you? Who distracts you from your mission? Who plants seeds of doubt wrapped in just being realistic? Who makes you feel like your ambition is too much? The answer to these questions tells you everything. Here's a hard truth most avoid. You don't just become like the people you surround yourself with, you become the standard they accept. If you're around people who tolerate mediocrity, you'll start lowering your standard just to stay connected, and eventually you'll forget what high level even felt like. So what's the move? You build a mental firewall. You audit your environment as ruthlessly as a general guards a fortress. You filter access to your attention like it's your most valuable currency, because it is. You raise your energetic requirements for those allowed into your space. This doesn't mean cutting everyone off. It means creating a circle of strength and letting everything else fall outside it. Let's talk real strategy. 1. Silence weak voices. Mute negativity on social media. Block energy vampires. Unfollow accounts that feed fear or victimhood. Remove default group chats that go nowhere. 2. Design your inputs. Create a mind gym playlist. Audio, video, books that build your spirit. Start your day with content that sharpens, not numbs. Read and reread greatness until it burns into your thought patterns. 3. Build your inner circle intentionally. Find people who are obsessed with growth. Collaborate with the committed, not the curious. Create feedback-based relationships, not comfort-based ones. Because here's the thing. You can't expect your mind to stay powerful while feeding it the thoughts, energy, and words of the weak. Just like a fighter watches what goes into his body, a warrior of the mind watches what goes into his soul. Protect your energy like a vault. Guard your focus like a battlefield. Filter your influence like your life depends on it, because it does. This is where most people slip. They do the inner work, but forget the outer cleanup. They pray for peace, but surround themselves with chaos. They want elevation, but never cut the weight holding them down. Not you. Not anymore. You've already burned the lies. You've built clarity. You've taken control of your thoughts. Now it's time to protect your field. Because this isn't just about growth, it's about sustainability. You want long-term resilience? Build an environment that supports it. And when the wrong people leave your life, don't panic. Let them go. They weren't aligned with where you're going. They were tied to a version of you that no longer exists. You are not that version anymore. You're not the person who needs approval. You're not the one who tolerates mediocrity. You're not the one who waits for permission to protect your peace. You're building something rare. And to protect something rare, you have to live differently. So now you've fortified your mindset from the inside, and you've cleaned the environment around you. But there's still one more piece of this armor. Because even the strongest minds and the best environments will fail if you don't build this next piece, daily discipline. In Part 4, we'll break down the structure of mental resilience, the rituals, systems, and micro-decisions that transform your energy into momentum every single day. Let's move. Part 5, Daily Discipline, the bridge from mindset to momentum. So far, you've built the fire. You've claimed your mindset. You've cleared your circle. But now it's time to move. Because all the clarity in the world is meaningless without execution. All the inner power, all the vision, all the purpose, they'll die inside of you unless you build the discipline to act. Daily. Discipline is the bridge between who you are and who you're becoming. It's not sexy. It's not exciting. It doesn't come with applause. But discipline is the difference maker. Look around. The strongest people you know, the most focused, consistent, dangerous minds, they don't operate on feelings. They operate on systems. Discipline isn't just about grinding harder. It's about creating non-negotiables that you live by, no matter the weather, the mood, or the noise. Here's what discipline really looks like. You wake up at the time you said you would, not when you feel like it. You train your body, not for aesthetics, but for resilience. You speak affirmations, even when your spirit feels empty. You execute tasks, not for dopamine, but for destiny. You keep promises, especially the ones made in private. This is how you build trust with yourself. And once you trust yourself, you become unstoppable. Let's make it practical. You don't need a perfect plan. You need a repeatable rhythm. Start here. Morning clarity ritual. Wake up and lock in your vision. Write down your goals by hand, yes, every day. Speak 2-3 powerful affirmations aloud. I move with purpose. I finish what I start. I cannot be broken. 2. Body activation. Train your body even for 15 to 20 minutes. Why? Because your physiology fuels psychology. Move your body, change your state, upgrade your thoughts. 3. Execution block. Set 1 to 3 key actions that align with your long-term vision. These are your non-negotiables, not your if I have time items. Attack them first before distractions enter. And here's the rule. You do it whether you feel like it or not. That's where discipline is born. That's where mental toughness is proven. That's where momentum begins. Because motivation, it's unreliable. But discipline, it's automatic. If you train it, and once it's trained, you won't need hype. You'll have rhythm. You'll have flow. You'll have unshakable momentum. Final truth. Discipline is self-respect in motion. You don't practice it for a gold star. You practice it because your mission deserves your best. You practice it because comfort has cost you enough. You practice it because you've already decided, this is who I am now. Now that you've built the foundation, inner fire, purpose, protected mindset, discipline. There's only one thing left to do. In Part 6, we go into relentless action, how to move fast, move focused, and move even when fear is screaming at you, because it's not enough to be ready. You have to move, now. Part 6, relentless action, move before you feel ready. Let's be honest, clarity is powerful, discipline is essential, but neither of them mean anything without this. You must take relentless action, not perfect action, not delayed action, relentless, immediate, focused. The biggest lie ever told to dreamers is this: wait until you're ready, but you will never feel ready. Readiness is a myth created by fear to keep you safe and small. So here's the new rule. You move first, and let your mind catch up later. You don't need the perfect plan, you need motion. You don't need certainty, you need commitment. Because when you move without hesitation, you do 2 things instantly. 1, you silence the voice of fear. 2, you build confidence through momentum. Remember this, action kills doubt every single time. You don't think your way into courage, you act your way into it. The world isn't shaped by the smartest, it's shaped by the boldest. The ones who show up while everyone else is still thinking about it. You want to separate yourself from 95% of people? Here's how. Act fast. Act often. Act even when it's messy. Let me be clear, hesitation is more dangerous than failure. Because when you hesitate, you reinforce fear. You tell your brain, maybe I'm not ready, maybe this is too risky. And then your brain, like a loyal guard dog, protects you from growth. But when you move, even just one small step, your brain says, we're doing this. Let's go. and momentum kicks in. Let's bring this back to your journey. You've done the mindset work, you've clarified your vision, you've built discipline into your days. Now it's time to press go. Not tomorrow. Not next Monday. Now, what have you been avoiding? That call you need to make, that project you keep planning, a conversation you know will move everything forward? Do it today. Not when it's perfect, when it's true. Because here's the truth. You don't rise by thinking. You rise by building. And building happens in the doing. Relentless action is not about speed for speed's sake. It's about decisiveness. It's about getting out of your head and into the world, where results live. You can read all the books, listen to every podcast, write goals all over your walls. But if you don't act, nothing changes. And don't mistake action for movement. Scrolling is not action. Overplanning is not action. Talking about your goals is not action. Real action costs energy. It invites risk, and it builds power. Here's your rule from now on. Never leave a moment of clarity without taking the next bold step. Even if it's small, even if it's scary, even if you don't know what's after that step. Because the ones who win, they move. They fall. They adjust. They move again. That's how you build an unbreakable life. So let me ask you, what's the move you've been putting off? Do it. Right now. Not next week. Not when I feel more confident. Now, because when you move, the world moves with you. In Part 7, we'll unlock the final piece, magnetic confidence, how to own every room you walk into by owning the voice inside your head. Let's finish this strong. Part 7, magnetic confidence, command the room before you speak. You've moved, you've acted, you've broken through hesitation. And now? Now it's time to build something that cannot be faked, confidence that speaks before you do. We're not talking about hype, not about shouting louder than everyone else, not about puffing your chest or posting for validation. We're talking about magnetic confidence, the kind you feel in your bones, the kind that silences a room when you walk in, not because you demand attention, but because your energy commands it. True confidence isn't volume, it's vibration. It's the frequency you emit when your thoughts, beliefs, and actions are aligned. When your inner world is clean, focused, grounded, people feel it even before you speak. They can't explain it. They just know that person is certain. And in a world drowning in doubt, certainty is magnetic. But here's the catch. You can't buy confidence. You can't borrow it. You can't fake it for long. You build it, brick by brick, by showing up when it's hard, by keeping promises to yourself, by doing the hard reps when no one's watching. Confidence doesn't come from winning. It comes from knowing you'll show up even if you lose. It comes from knowing you can handle it all, not because you're invincible, but because you're unshakable. Let me be clear, you don't need more praise. You need more proof. Proof to yourself that you will move, that you will rise, that you will fight for your future like it already belongs to you, because it does. Magnetic confidence is built through mental integrity, daily execution, clear identity, internal certainty that doesn't waver with outside noise. People follow the ones who believe in what they're becoming, and when your actions match your words, when your energy backs your mission, you become undeniable. Now that you've built this foundation, there's only one thing left to do. In Part 8, we'll seal this with legacy, how to turn this mindset into a life that outlives you. Not just a success story, but a symbol of what's possible for those who never back down. Let's close this chapter like warriors. Part 8, Legacy, build a life that outlives you. You've built the fire. You've owned your mindset. You've moved with relentless action. You've stepped into magnetic confidence. Now it's time to ask the bigger question. What will remain when you're gone? Because all this discipline, this clarity, this resilience, it's not just for success, it's for significance. Success is hitting your goals. Legacy is changing the way others see what's possible. Anyone can chase results, but few live in a way that echoes beyond their own timeline. Legacy is not built in one moment. It's built in 1,000 invisible choices. The hard ones, the quiet ones, the ones no one sees, but everyone feels after you're gone. You want to know what's truly powerful? Living in such a way that when people speak your name, they remember strength, they remember clarity, they remember how you made them believe more was possible. Not because you were perfect, but because you were consistent. Because you kept showing up, even when it hurt. Because you didn't fold when most would have. Because you lived by principle, not by popularity. Legacy isn't about being known, it's about being worth remembering. Every day, you're casting votes for the future you, with your words, with your habits, with your reactions to pressure. You're not just building your life, you're building the story others will tell about your life. And no, this isn't about ego, it's about responsibility, because there's someone watching you, a younger version of you, a future generation, a teammate, a friend, a son, a stranger, someone who will rise because you refused to fall. So make your life your loudest message. Let your consistency speak louder than your quotes. Let your values outlast your emotions. Let your actions declare to the world, I was here, I stood for something, I did not waste this breath. This is legacy, and it's available to you. Not someday, but today. In how you think, in how you fight, in how you finish. So now, after all the fire, all the focus, all the fight, one question remains. Will you live in a way that's worth remembering? Because your legacy starts now. Let the world feel it. Part 9, Final Declaration. This is who I am now. Enough waiting. Enough thinking. Enough promising you'll start someday. That day is done. That version of you is gone. This is the line. From this moment forward, you don't negotiate with weakness. You don't explain your fire to people who are scared of heat. You don't shrink to fit the comfort zone that betrayed you. You've trained your mind. You've defined your purpose. You've moved when you were afraid. You've built a rhythm. You've stepped into power. Now it's time to own it, fully, boldly, without retreat. I am not the old me. I don't think like them. I don't move like them. I don't live like them, because I'm not one of them anymore. You are the exception. You are the example. You are the one who decided, this life, I will live it with fire, with force, with focus. You don't need permission. You don't need applause. You don't need guarantees. All you need is the decision you already made, to be unbreakable. So when fear rises, you rise higher. When the world pulls back, you push harder. When your own mind whispers old doubts, you drown them in truth, in action, in faith. Your story isn't finished, but the chapter of hesitation? It ends here. You don't just think with power now, you live with it. You walk differently. You speak with clarity. You move like someone who knows, I was built for this. Let this be the final declaration that echoes in your thoughts every time the storm comes. I am unshakable. I am unstoppable. I am unbreakable. And this is just the beginning. Now go. Make your life louder than your words. Make your actions your anthem. Make your legacy undeniable. Own it. This is who you are now.